Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Sell More with Sites. Thank you for joining today. So first of all, who we are Bitrix24 Gold Partners Interface. My name is Sam Connor, a sales engineer here at Interface. We're based in the UK, in the US and Hong Kong. And we offer a full range of services to help you with your Bitrix24 requirements. And that starts off with pre-sale support, so we can run through any questions that you have and provide a bespoke demonstration for the system. If you feel Bitrix is a good fit for your business, we can offer a full range of implementation services, setting up the system to your specific requirements. For the self-hosted edition, we also offer our own hosting services, and we can provide training and ongoing dedicated support to help you get the most out of Bitrix24. So if you're brand new to Bitrix, you're joining the webinar today to look at the features. What is Bitrix24? Well, it is a collaboration suite of really well over 35 tools now to help you in managing your business. And specifically today, we're going to be looking at how we can create our very own websites using the Site Designer tool. There are over 8 million organizations that use Bitrix24, and the system's available in two different editions. So you have the cloud edition and also the self-hosted system as well. And prices start for a commercial cloud license from $19 per month, and for an on-premise lifetime license, the first level, the 12 user package, is available for $1,490. Okay, so today we are going through the Sell More with Sites webinar. So it's important, first of all, to understand why you should build your site using Bitrix24. And first of all, you can use your own domain. So that's a really critical aspect to the Bitrix24 site feature. You can design your site on Bitrix, and it's included with all commercial licenses, and you can then use your own domain once your site has been published. Another benefit is it's really simple to actually build your site. So we're going to have a look at that in a second. So you don't need any design or coding or art skills to build your sites. It's very simple. It uses drag and drop technology to build your site in the Sites module. And with the site, it integrates with Bitrix24 tools such as website forms and live chat systems. You can feed those and connect them to your site seamlessly. And then if people submit details on your sites, that can feed automatically into the CRM system. So the sites module connects with lots of different areas of Bitrix24. Okay, it's responsive, so we can see how this would work on different devices and applications, and it is mobile friendly as well. And you can also configure meta tags, so for your search engine optimization, and you can connect to Google Ads. So there's lots of data and analytics that you can configure and use from your site traffic. Okay, so first of all then, in the webinar, we're going to look at how we can set up our very own site in Bitrix24. So we're going to look at how we can choose our design and then configure this design in the system. We'll then add some content and look at what widgets we can configure and add into the page. And then we'll look at the testing and the ability to attach Google Analytics. Okay, so first of all, let's head back into our Bitrix24 system. So the sites module we're going to look at today, it's available on both the cloud and on-premise editions of Bitrix24. So first of all, you want to choose your design for your site. So we click on the site button here. And that's now going to open up a huge catalogue of templates that we can select from. So Bitrix24 offers a wide range of pre-configured designs for you to choose from. And this covers a range of different industry sectors, from web design through to real estate agencies and delivery services. So there are a variety of industries you can select from. And you can even start your very own template from scratch. And around different seasons, you will see seasonal templates here. So Easter has just passed. There was an Easter template here. You can see a Black Friday template there. So any seasonal, promotional times of the year, you will see brand new templates in the system as well. So you can select that industry template that you would like to use. And you can then select what theme and color you would like to use on that template. So you can see it's configured the live chat and the buttons here with that particular color. Okay, and now it has used the template we've selected, it's brought through the colors. So now using that, it has started to create our very own site on the Bitrix24 Sites module. Okay, so before we go into here and actually start editing the site, what you want to do is configure your site settings. So first of all, we should configure the essential settings of your website. So in the top menu here, we've got a settings button. And first of all, we should go to the site settings option. Okay, so within here, first of all, we can add our site address. So you can see, first of all, that we have been provided with our own subdomain here. But what we can do, as we mentioned earlier on in the webinar, you can add your own domain for this particular site. So you can add your domain into here. Just a word of caution, what we would recommend is you actually leave it with the domain address that Bitrix24 has provided. And once you're happy that the site is set up correctly, once you're ready to publish at that stage, you should then add your own domain. Okay, so just to make sure everything's correct on the site first, and then go through and add your domain into the system. Okay, so further down here, we can also add widgets. So we're going to have a look at these shortly. So if you've created your own website forms or live chat widgets in Bitrix24, those connect with the CRM system. We could select those from here and add those to our website. So you don't need to add any code or embed a form. We can simply select the forms and widgets we have already created in Bitrix24 and select those to populate onto our site. We've said here we can select what color we want to use for the framework on the site. And further down here, we can also change the fonts. So we can choose the type of font, the text size, and so on. So these are your standard configurations that you can configure for your site. Okay, and further down here, we can add our Google Analytics ID. So this is really important. So you can add your UA code for tracking visitors, and this will then talk with your Google Analytics system. So you can add your analytics page into there. Okay, so that's where we can then configure our site settings. And once we've done this, what we can then do is we can go into the page settings. So for each page we create on the sites module, we can optimize those pages. Okay, so because we can build multiple page websites, what you can do is you can apply different settings to each individual page. And it is essential for website SEO and configuration to make sure you are being searched correctly on search engines. So within this particular page in here, what we can do importantly in this page is we can edit and add our meta tags. So we can add the title, description, those keywords we would like to display. So we can add all of that information for every single page that we create on this website. Okay, so from there then we've added and configured our site settings, and we've done the individual page settings. And now what we can do is we can actually configure the design. Okay, so it's very easy and straightforward to do. So if you have chosen a pre-configured design, then you will already see a range of blocks that have been installed for you. So you can see in here, we can see add block. So each one of these sections here is a block on this particular web page. So if I wanted to add a new block into this, all I need to do is I can click onto the block feature here. And then in the left-hand side, this opens up the menu for what block I want to add into this area of the site. So for example, I might want to embed a video into this area. So I could use one of the embedding video templates here. It could be maybe some buttons or links that I want to show. So you can see there's different types of blocks that you can add into here. It could be a contact us form, for example, so we can embed a form into here. So you can select what blocks you would like to display. So for example, I may add some images into here of our business. And on every block in here, I mean, you can configure the layout, so I can move these blocks up and down. And you also have, for every single block, you have an edit button. So you can go into each block that you have and edit the information that is being shown in that block. If you've got images, for example, you could upload your own images. Or we have the connection with Unsplash. So this is kind of a document library of images. So I can either search in here or use one of the tags in there, and it will show all of those different options for images that we can use on our pages. So you don't have to pay for this subscription. It's included with the sites module. So I can then select those images that I want to use and save that into the block. Okay, so that's now added that image into this block. So you can see it's really simple to actually start to build out and flesh out your pages on the website. So you can use those blocks to add the information, and you can then edit each individual block in your website. And just to mention in here, so this is one individual page. You can build multiple page websites inside the sites module. And if you do want to do that, you will need a commercial license. So please bear that in mind if you are planning to create multiple page websites in your site menu. Okay, and let's just have a look actually at what those different types of sites will look like. So if we just go into other pages here, so you can create free standalone landing pages using the sites module, or you can create multifunctional websites with multiple pages on that platform. And so for example, here we've got a landing page. So a reason you may create a landing page on the site is it could be a one-off marketing campaign, and maybe you actually want to collect data that then gets inputted into the CRM system. So for example, here we've got a landing page we've created, and we've integrated some of those widgets that we talked about earlier on. So it could be we open up a live chat functionality into here, or we've got a web form as well. So I could submit some details into here. And let's choose the flavor of cake I want to take. And I can then submit that information. And that will then be fed into the CRM system that we'll have a look at shortly. So you could create landing pages, you're able to capture information on your potential customers, and that will feed into the Bitrix24 CRM system. So everything is interlinked. Or you can create multiple page websites. So these multi-page websites provide you with much more kind of conventional website formats. So what you can see in here, we've got a page in here with, you can see the different blocks that we've added into here. but at the top we've got different menu options, so I can select that particular item and it opens up that particular page of that website. So you can create multiple page websites in your system as well. And you can see in here as well, we've got some of those live chat widgets, we've got a website form, so we can bring in those widgets that we've been talking about into the platform. Okay, so let's look at the different types of sites that you can create. And once you've built out your site, you then want to be able to test this. So Bitrix provides the ability to test your website on a desktop, iPad, and iPhone. So you can view what the page looks like on different displays. And again, what's useful with this is you don't need to understand the code. There's no kind of complex configuration for this. At the top in here, we can see the different types of devices we can select from. So there we've selected the mobile, so I can see what this looks like on a mobile device. We can choose a tablet as well, and then the standard desktop web browser display as well. So it's as simple as that to see what this site is going to look like on all of those different devices. And this is really important because it could be, for example, you have lots of your potential customers use mobile devices. So it's really important to make sure that the page and site looks professional on those different types of displays. And Bitrix makes it so easy for you to test out those different options. Okay, so once you've done that, you can then preview. So we can preview and make that live onto the Bitrix domain site. So we can preview what this looks like. And then once you're ready and happy to launch, then we can add our own domain onto this. So once your DNS is pointed, you can then click and publish. So as we mentioned at the start, once you're happy at this stage, you can then add your own domain into the records. And then all you really have to do is press publish, and then your site is ready and accessible to your potential customers or your existing customers to use. Okay, so please add any questions into the chat box and we can run through those for you as we go through the session today. Okay, so can I keep my site hidden until it's ready to go live? And yeah, if you want to keep that site hidden, just don't point the DNS record and then it's not going to be accessible to the web. So yes, that's what you should do if you want to keep that hidden off the system. Okay, if there are any other questions, please do add them in. Okay. Okay, so can I make a new website with my web domain? So if you've got your very own domain, if you purchase your own domain, you can then add that onto that page. Yes, absolutely. So you can use your own domain. You don't have to use the domain that is provided by Bitrix24. So all you do is go into the settings, into the site settings, and use your own domain. Okay. Okay, so moving on then from the page there where we can create our pages and websites. Now let's have a look at quite a new feature in Bitrix, which is the online store. So I guess this has become quite an important area with the growth in online product sales. So in Bitrix24, you're also able to create your very own online store. And this uses a lot of the same functionality like we saw on the site module. But the key difference in here is you can add products that you can then sell. So rather than using that sites module, you go to what we call the online store. Okay, so first of all, what we can do is we will go to create a new online store. So it's exactly the same process to begin with. You can then choose one of the templates to start creating your site. Okay, and then within that site, you can then go into here and let's just go into here and see what this handmade shop looks like. Okay, so you can see the functionality, very similar. So we can add blocks into here as we're building out the online store. The key difference, as we mentioned, is the ability to add products. So inside here, you can add products that your clients can purchase. You can choose and add quantities, maybe different styles of products, so maybe different attributes, such as the color, such as the sizes. So we're looking at shoes here, so you can add different categories of those products into your system. And then users can buy these. You can integrate with payment gateways so customers can buy directly from your site. So what you need to make sure you do in here is you add those products correctly to your online store. So let's just have a look at how we add our products into the online store. Okay, so back into the online store section, we can see here an area called product catalogues. So it's in this section where we would add all of the products that we want to sell in our online store. So we've seen how the actual site template, it uses the same methodology where you edit the information. The difference is you then add your products onto the store. So inside here, you would add all of your products. And once you've added the product information, so the product, the details, you can add images about the product and other details. You can add your meta descriptions and titles for your search engine optimization and add the price of the product as well. So once that's been done, we can then add that product onto our site. Okay, so you can upload those also via an Excel file into here. And once you've done that, you want to connect your payment gateway so customers can purchase those products. So what you want to do here is go into the settings and to the payment systems. So inside here, you can then select the new payment option, and you can then add the type of payment that you are allowing on your online store. So as standard, Bitrix has integrations with PayPal and Stripe. And what you can also do, which could be very popular, is if you wanted to add, say, coupons, you have the ability as well to add discounts, for example, into your products as well. So if you wanted to offer a code, for example, you could also add vouchers into the sections as well. Okay, and then once they've paid for those products, what we have is the integration. So once the product has been purchased, that order will come into the orders section. And if you use the CRM system, you'll see the functionality is quite similar when placing orders in the online store. So what we have here are two orders, and you can see what stage each order is at in the system. So what you can do is you can add those different stages that you would progress an order through. So just like in the CRM where you have leads and deals, with the orders you can add different customized stages that you progress the order through. And with the order stages as well, we can also create automatic rules. So for example, as soon as the order is accepted, we're going to send out a thank you email to the customer thanking them for their order. And once we go through to the paid and we're preparing the shipment, we're going to go into here and allow a delivery and also a follow-up email to say thank you for the payments. So there's lots of different types of automations you can run for either internal activity. So it could be maybe creating tasks for the employee, or we can use client communications as well. What we can also do is create triggers. So triggers is an action, and that can then automatically update the stage of that order. So for example, as soon as payment has been completed, we're going to automatically update the order to the paid stage. So you can create your very own automations in the system. This is really useful because it allows you to tailor your process to your specific requirements, because businesses will have different types of stages that you have to go through during that ordering process. Okay, so that's how we can then create our very own ordering process with stages and automation, so you can automatically communicate with the customer as your order is going through those set stages. Okay, so you just have some follow-up questions here. So can I use the same account from my Bitrix24 CRM to manage more websites? So I don't know quite what you mean by manage more websites. You can create multiple sites in Bitrix24, and you can then embed those different features we've mentioned, such as website forms and live chats. So you could have several websites, and all of those could connect with your Bitrix24 CRM system. You don't just have to have one site. You can have several sites that you can then talk to the CRM through those live chat widgets or website forms. So yeah, you're not restricted to just having the one particular site. Okay, another question, is there a limit to the number of fields I can add to my website forms? So no, there's no limit. We're going to have a look in the next section at building those website forms, so you can add and capture as much information on those forms as you require. There's no limit to the number of fields you can have on those forms. Okay, so if there are any other questions, please do add them into the chat box and we'll run through those before the end of the webinar today. Okay, so now kind of going on there from the questions we've just had, we're going to now look at the CRM integration. So we've seen on some of those web pages we have live chat features, website forms. So this allows our customers to actually communicate with our internal users in Bitrix24 and also to capture information directly inside the Bitrix24 CRM system. So let's have a look at where we can create those widgets and apply those to our website. Okay, so let's go into the CRM now. Okay, and let's go into an area down here where we call the website widget section. So this is where you can create your different types of widgets that you want to apply to your websites. So you saw earlier on when we were creating those sites how we could select those widgets, and we build those widgets in this area, and that will then feed into your site. So first of all, what we can create is a live chat system. So you can then have your customers communicate with the internal teams in Bitrix24 through a live chat messaging system. So first of all, what we can do in here is we can select the type of live chat. So we can choose different colors that the live chat can be. And we can also decide how that is displayed on the site. So most often it would be in the bottom right or left-hand corner. You can decide where that live chat is displayed on your page. And we can decide how quickly that loads. So is it immediately, or do you want to delay that live chat until a certain time once the user is on the page? Again, if you want to have that on mobile devices or do you want that hidden, you can configure that and remove the Bitrix24 branding and select the language as well that the system will display in. Okay, and then once you've done the kind of the basic settings there, we can also decide kind of work time preferences. So is there a certain time when that live chat system is going to be enabled? And also who is actually going to be responsible for dealing with those live chats. So we can decide which people in our team are responsible for dealing with those live chats. So we can search in here and we can select who in our team is going to be able to receive and respond to those live chat messages. And you can choose the distribution as well. So is each chat going to go to everyone, or are we evenly distributing those conversations? So you can configure this here. If it's a new live chat as well, so we can ask for details such as the name and email address, we can automatically create a new lead if the details are not inside the CRM system. So there's lots of automations we can set up on here as well. So once you've configured that, you can then follow up and embed that onto your web page. Or what you can also do is, if it's on a website you've not built in Bitrix, you can then take the widget code and embed that onto your site, and it will then display the live chat for you. You can also create website forms. So as we've mentioned, you can create forms inside the system. So let's have a look at how we can build a form. This now opens up the form designer. So what we can do is you can build out your form in Bitrix24, and you can apply in here any fields that come from your Bitrix24 CRM system. So you can create custom fields, so very specific to your business, and then add those fields into this form. So if I go to the add field into here, I can select any fields from any entity in the CRM. So if I want to choose a contact field, I could select that. If it's going to be a lead, I can select from any of our lead fields in the system here. So you can fully customize your web form to capture all of that specific information that you want to get from your customers. And on any of these fields as well, we can make the field required. So you can't submit that form until those specific fields have information inside. So that's really important, because there will be on your forms, there's bound to be certain information you want to gather before the form can be submitted. So on any of those fields, you can customize and make sure they are required and mandatory before the form can be submitted. And once that information has been added into the system, you can then decide where this information is going to go inside your system. So it could be a lead, for example, or you may want it to create a contact record. So you can customize here what entity inside the CRM system it will create when that form is submitted. Okay, so let's look at the live chats and the website forms. Again, there's no limit to the number of forms that you can create. And when that information then gets submitted, it can come into the CRM system. So we've seen how there we can automatically create those informations and details. So if you turn on the settings, so we had on the website form, we were going to create a lead entity. When a user submits their information, that can then automatically generate a brand new lead in the lead section of your CRM system. Just before we go through the lead section in more detail, we do have a webinar where we specifically look at the CRM system. But inside leads, this is where you would manage your general inquiries. So if somebody has spoken to you on live chat, it can create a brand new lead. And you can then go and progress that lead through different stages to try and qualify it. So you capture more information and qualify that lead. And these stages that you can see in the lead here, they are fully customizable. So you can have as many or as few stages as you require. You can change the name and the color of those leads in the system. And you can also create automation, just like we saw in the online store. So at each stage of the lead process, what we can do is we can take the automation rules that are in place here, and it can then trigger automatic communications with the customer, or create activity for your internal teams. So for example, if somebody submitted a web form on our new landing page we've created, it could automatically come into here as a new lead. And at the new lead stage, we're going to automatically send out a thank you email to them. And maybe we create a task for the responsible person of that new lead. So it's all drag and drop to bring any automation through here. And those could be automations for the employee. As we say here, it could be a task or changing who is responsible for that lead. We can also create client communications. And we can also link with Facebook ads and Google ads. So we could actually send the contact data we have about that lead to those advertising platforms. And you can then, if you've created adverts on those sites there, you could then display an advertisement to that contact at a specific stage of your lead qualification process. Okay, so that's a look at the lead. And just to go inside a lead page, each lead that you have, so if somebody has submitted information from the site you've created, it will create a lead page for them. So you can see all of the details about the lead. So when they submit those fields of information on, say, a web form, all of that information will populate into the lead page here. And you've got an activity stream, so you can see all of the detail associated to that lead. And I won't go into much more detail right now in this webinar, but we will be running through a CRM webinar in a few weeks. So we will go through the CRM system in a lot more detail. Okay, yeah, so if we're running a website on a different platform, so if you've not created the website on Bitrix, would you still be able to embed those widgets? Yeah, absolutely. So just like we mentioned about the live chats, you can embed that code on the live chats system. And if we just go into the CRM form session again, so if we go into edit this form, every form that you create in here, again, just like with live chat, you get an embedding code. So if you're hosting on an external site, you can simply copy the code here and embed that onto your website. And that's the same for any forms, any live chat features that you create. You can simply take the code that gets created and apply that to your website. So you don't have to create the site on Bitrix to add these features. And so when a chat widget will start, can I show the client different services? For example, can I choose if he wants to speak through chat or message or WhatsApp? Yes, so it just depends what widgets you apply onto your site. So I mean, within Bitrix24, we offer the ability to add the forms or live chats. If you've integrated WhatsApp, you could offer that as a feature on your sites. So yes, it simply depends on what applications you have added to your particular website. Okay. Okay, and then moving on to the reporting side of the features we've looked at today before we go through the summary. So there are a number of ways you can report on what is happening based on the information on your site. So we've mentioned how you can add your Google Analytics link. So each site you set up in your site configuration settings, it allows you to add your Google Analytics account to the tracking ID. So you can then track statistics on the visitors that are coming to your website. With the live chat features we've mentioned and those different widgets, you can then see conversation statistics. So you can track statistics on the open channels that you have set up. So for example, we can see here the different channel loads, so we can see what methods are being used to communicate through our sites. We can see the average reply time, how many sessions there has been. This shows you kind of an activity board, so you can see how busy you are at different times of the day. So it records each session that takes place. So this gives you good feature and analytic overview of all of the different communication tools that are being used on your sites. You can see how busy different operatives are on the system, and you can create different filters here. So we're looking at this current month. You might just want to look at this week, for example, so you can customize this information. And just to mention there, the satisfaction rate as well. So at the end of a live chat, for example, you can ask for a satisfaction score. So if it's good or bad, and that satisfaction rate is based on that feedback from the interactions with your visitors. And if we just go back into the CRM, really the third way we can see reports is through the lead dashboard. So you'll be able to see in here the source of all of your leads. So we can see CRM forms, you'd see the live chats. So we can see where those leads are coming from based on their sources. And you can show how you can create new widgets and filters on here. So if I wanted to create a filter based on a certain source type, I could simply select that from inside here. So it could be I just want to look at all of the live chat leads in the system. So you can create those filters in here and then build out your reports and export that data. Okay, so let's look at some of the reports. So in summary today, we looked at how we can set up our web pages using the Sites module on Bitrix24. We've seen how simple it is and how you can really build out great looking designs using the block functionality. I think really importantly, we've seen how it integrates with different areas of Bitrix24 using those web forms and live chats. It's a fully integratable system with our CRM platform, and this can then help to improve conversion rates as you're tracking all of the activity from your sites. Okay, so coming soon, there are a selection of the webinars we've got coming up for you in the next few weeks. If you do have any questions in the meantime, please do email sales@intraface.com or head to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to get in contact with us as well. So thank you for your time today and hopefully see you next week on the next webinar.